My goal today is to make sure that you feel a little better about marketing because it is that kind of big, scary thing, especially if you never came from a background of marketing to try and tackle, because marketing just really encapsulates so much, whether it's your sales, if it's referral marketing, if it's social marketing, like there's so much to
So
it.
much.
But I think it's kind of a fun way that you can decide, what is your brand? How do you want to come across to, I'm looking at what Frank stands for, friends, your relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids, clubs, all of that. And so this is where you are really in control and can have a unique perspective on things. And
Hmm.
so that's the goal today. How do we use marketing in Travefy? How can we make it a little less scary? And of course, we got to do our housekeeping items. I'll try and fly through this. One, we're all recording. We are recording all of the sessions. It will be on our YouTube channel. We already have quite a few of them up. I think all of yesterday's are already up. So take a look. Make sure you check out the descriptions. We'll have handout links in there. We're also doing live Q&A, and one request, try and put your questions in the Q&A panel. We have the amazing Jonathan from our client champion team with us today. He is great at hitting the keyboard. I can almost hear it from here. But he can get you an answer really quickly. And if not, you can always reach out to us at professional@travefy.com or get in the live chat. But that's going to help us make sure that we can try and answer as many questions as we can because Jonathan is on rapid fire mode. And then, third thing, join the Facebook group. We hit 18,000 members as of yesterday, which is insane. But I think that is a really great place to start when you're thinking about who your community is when you are a travel advisor, especially with so many of you being new to the industry. And so join it. You don't have to post anything. You can still find a lot of good material in there, whether it's a tip from someone or if someone asked a question that you were thinking of too. It's a really great way to connect. So make sure you join the Facebook group. And also for my new travel advisor friends, we've been spouting this one off every time. Join the new travel agent program. There's nothing to lose with this one. You're going to get all of Travefy's features, plus that custom domain, plus that custom email, along with really great support and training. But, no matter what subscription you go with, if you're part of the new travel agent program or you're on the standard subscription, you'll always get world-class training and support. So take a look, see which one's going to fit you the best. But new travel agent program is really great to get started and hit the ground running. But start your free trial. Always have to throw that in there. It's 10 days long. We aren't going to force you to put your credit card in before you can begin. You'll get access to all of the features. So have some fun trying this out. And that's honestly a really good step into our agenda today because I do think the marketing portion of learning with Travefy really needs you to be in your account or have access to a Travefy account afterwards, just so you can actually be the one who clicks, drags and drops, hits publish, does all the things, actually gets in there and get hands-on learning. And so start your free trial. This is going to be really helpful with the templates I hand out as well. And so with that, we're going to do a quick introduction to Travefy, excuse me. But then we're going to dive into the marketing. What is marketing? How do we use it in Travefy? What are some different methods, ways that we can use the page builder to our liking? So we'll talk about templates. I'm going to talk about how you can create a website for yourself and how you can customize it. We'll go through a bit of terminology and vocabulary along with it. Linking pages together. We'll talk about domain masking, which is a really big piece to all of this. And then as always, we'll wrap up with some resources and live Q&A. I do always like to mention with this type of session, especially, this is one that does feel a little bit more repetitive with the steps that we're going to take, but I think that's necessary, especially when it comes to a new tool that maybe you've never used before, just getting used to how it works, how you navigate through it. And so you're going to hear me say a few phrases over and over again. You might hear me saying that in your sleep tonight. I apologize ahead of time, but you are going to be marketing experts at the end of this. So, what is Travefy? Who's Travefy? If this is your first session, first of all, welcome. Let us know in the chat actually, how many sessions have you been a part of? I'll give you a second to count. But if it's your first session, I'm going to let you know, Travefy does really create tools for every part of your workflow. I see so many alls, I see sixes, sevens, which is amazing. All but one. Awesome, you guys. And if you feel like you're missing out because you're hearing me say, oh, there's like people have watched all of them, have been attending all of them, just know, visit the recordings. You are not going to want to miss those sessions. But that is awesome, you guys. Well, you guys are probably pretty familiar with this slide because I've hit on it all of today. But what we're focusing on is the marketing portion, which is where you are, again, putting your brand out there. This is how we are getting leads in the door and that funnel at the top. And of course, that all funnels into your CRM, which is that customer relationship management tool, how you are getting leads in the door, their information getting organized, walking them through the proposal quote process, sending them invoices, setting up your commissions. All of these work together so you can continue to grow. And so we always have to start at the beginning. Marketing. Marketing is always at the beginning, the middle, and the end. It is something that continually is working. It never, ever stops. And so it's really important to at least get something in the door when you think about what your marketing efforts look like. Now, I'll stop right here. Always have to shout out our client champion team. We are here to help. There is going to be a lot of information packed into this session. It's okay to get confused. It's okay to have questions. Reach out to our team. We will try and answer as much as we can, but reach out to our team if you want to set up that training, if you want to watch some of our on-demand resources. I asked this in the last session of how many of you guys have other jobs aside from being a travel advisor. Most people had multiple jobs, from nurses, teachers, insurance, everything above that. So if you need some on-demand material, we have on-demand webinars, we have free certification programs that you can go through just to help build up your education. But feel free to reach out to us. We are not scary. We're all here pretty much in Nebraska or New Jersey, so let us know how we can help. But with that being said, that's your little warning. We're going to go through a lot. We have an amazing support team to help you throughout, though. I'm going to slide us on over into Travefy. This is where we were in the last session. This is our trips page. This is where you put together your proposals, itineraries, along with a few other things. What we are going to do first, and I'm actually going to go to my handout section. I'm going to give you guys the link to two templates. One is going to be a homepage template. So this is going to be the first one. And I'm going to just put that in the chat quick. And hopefully that works. It looks like only part of it might have done it. Let me try that one more time. Otherwise, shoot.
I can put
Anita,
it in there for you.
No. Okay.
I got you, Bonnie.
I'm going to have Stephanie mess around with the link. We have a homepage template. We also have an about template that I want you guys to have access to. The key thing is that you do need to be in your Travefy account when you access the link. And where this is going to take you is into our marketplace. Marketplace, think of this as your free store of downloads and templates. This is all material that has been created by other Travefy users. So you'll find workflows, you'll find task lists, you'll find forms, you'll find itineraries, etc. You'll find everything in here. Now, where this link is going to take you is into our featured section. I'm going to refresh this really quick so you can see it here. And from here, it's going to show you your about template and home template. These two can go hand in hand. They're meant to go hand in hand. These were created specifically for this event. Once you have that link, it's going to pop up something like this. You'll get a preview of everything. It's going to give you prompts on what you should put in there. From here, you'll want to go ahead and select copy to your library. So let's do that quick. I have that link in hand. I'm copying it to my library. Your library, that is your own personal private database of resources. Marketplace, that's open to everyone, so you can download whatever you want. It saves into your library, which is private to you and anyone on your team. So now that you have that home template stored right within here, and I recommend doing the same for that about template, this is a little bit of what it looks like. From here, what I'm going to do is I clicked right on into it. We have a menu on the right-hand side that shows up. And now I'm clicking the three dots and I'm going to select new page from here. We are going to use this page template to work smarter, not harder. And so when I select new page from here, it opens up this. This is our template. And from here, we're going to walk through how you should navigate through the templates or really any pages. But before I do so, I want to give off a little bit of a vocabulary lesson. I'm going to say websites, I'm going to say landing pages. If this is your first time hearing it, it might be a little confusing, so I'm going to back it up. This here is a single page, right? You can scroll up, you can scroll down. It's one singular page. When you begin connecting this page to other pages, like an about page, that's when you can start to consider it a website. A website is just multiple single landing pages connected together through links and buttons. A singular version is a landing page, multiple is a website. So if that helps you out at all, that is what I am referring to. But we're working off this single landing page. And so we're going to go through this together. First things first that I recommend doing is going to your edit page settings up at the top right if you can see my mouse waving around. And from here, these settings are a really good place to start just to lay the foundation for the rest of this landing page. Now you can go into your theme, you can choose a different theme color if you would like. If you have your own logo already, you can put in your colors. You also can click into that box right here. You can use the eyedropper tool to find the right color, play around with the colors, experiment, see what you like the most of. However, you can also change the theme here if you would like. You could use the stellar theme. That's a little bit of a darker tone. Kaizen, you're going to see that that has a little bit of a different look as well. Choose whichever one you like the most. For me personally, I'm going to stick with the template theme that's already in here. And the next thing I'm going to point out is your SEO and social. So theme, that's all about the aesthetics of what the page is looking like so far. The next piece is really, really important, especially if you are setting up a website for yourself. SEO and social are the tools that are going to help bring this page up in the top of the search results, whether you're searching on Google, being whatever search engine you're using. SEO is a huge piece to marketing. And if you aren't familiar with SEO, it pretty much just stands for search engine optimization. And this is how someone like Google matches results to whatever someone is searching. So if you're online and you are searching travel advisor near me, Google already pretty much knows where you're at, just depending on a few things. It knows, hey, Bonnie is in Lincoln, Nebraska. She's looking for a travel advisor near her. They're going to look through SEO site descriptions, seeing, okay, what travel advisor website is out there that says they're in Lincoln, Nebraska? Boom, 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 boom. Here's every result that you could imagine that has that in their SEO site description. Now, there's a few caveats to that, of course, but SEO site description is pretty much where I'm going to tell you, keep it simple, put 2 to 3 sentences about what your business is. Think of it as a quick business summary. And so for me, I'm going to copy and paste some in. I'm going to paste that in there. I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit of what it looks like. But I say what my company name is, where I'm based out of, when I was started, what I specialize in, and a few other things. Again, think of this as just a really quick business summary because if someone is searching travel advisor, Lincoln, Nebraska, all inclusive, I'm more likely to pop up because that's in my SEO description. Again, Google's just trying to play matchmaker. Who has the best description that's going to match what that person is looking for? And so don't get too caught up in the weeds of that. There's a whole rabbit hole you can fall into with SEO, but that's just my personal take on it from knowing what I know. Next thing is your social media image. I think this is important for those of you who have a website already and who don't have a website. This is really nice if you're sharing your URL out onto social media, something like Facebook. A thumbnail typically appears, and this is the thumbnail that's going to show up. And so for me personally, we have 4 different methods of adding a photo in. I usually like to put in the actual logo. You can't have enough branding opportunities. And so I'm going to find one really, really quick. And you know what? Let's just grab this. I'll click open. I'll select edit right here. And boom, keep edits and save. So now if I were to post this link onto something like Facebook, this is a little bit of what it would look like. If you want to post a photo of you and your team, if you are with an agency, you can always do that too. There's different pros and cons to it. Last thing that I'll just say while we're in the edit page setting is your page settings here. We went through theme, which is the aesthetic part, SEO and social, which is getting you up in those search results. Next are the page ones, which is going to help you really edit this entire landing page. One is your page slug. This is something that you can customize. It's part of your URL. So whenever you go to a website, and just think about the last website that you were on, it typically is companyname.com/ something custom. That custom piece is your page slug. So for me, if this is my homepage, I would recommend that you do homepage. Now, I already have a homepage, so I'm going to call this home dash new agent bootcamp. And that's going to be a part of that URL now. If you are setting up a landing page for something like a group, I don't know, I know a lot of you are actually getting into groups right now. So if you are, let me know. Here is my biggest tip for you guys. Put in a fun group name into your page slug. I always love seeing that, back in 2015, everything was really big into hashtags. Ooh, Kelsey, you say almost always groups. Perfect. Put in a fun group name into that page slug if you're working with couples. Put in their last name or put in their first plus first name. Have some fun with that page slug. It is custom and it feels really personal when you give that to a client if you are creating a travel landing page. But today we're focused on creating a bit of a simple website using those templates. So we're just going to keep it as home. But if anyone has questions, continue, let us know. Page title, this is for you. Just know what page you're working with. There's no limit to how many pages you can create. And you can see I personally have quite a few in here. So title it in a way that you know where you can find it next time. And lastly, rearranging. This here, again, going back to our vocabulary lesson, is a single landing page. These blocks, though, you can see maybe, I don't know if you can on my screen, there's this really tiny green dotted outline when I hover my mouse over certain blocks. These blocks are considered elements. And this is how we can rearrange it. So yes, you do have a template, but if you decide, you know what, I want to have my process be above the who I am, I can just drag and drop it into the order that I want. It's really easy to move things around so you can customize that layout into the flow that you think works the best. I'm actually going to move it back just like that, and you can experiment and have some fun with it. But I think that's the easiest way to rearrange your layout is going into your page settings and going into that page tab. But all right, that was a lot. That was just settings. We're going to start to get into the repetitive, so it starts to stick a little bit more. But I'm going to click save. And my next two big things for you to really understand too is customizing. If you ever want to edit something, just click on it and the menu to edit that specific element will appear on the right-hand side. So you can see we have the prompt, put your company name in. Okay, that's Bonnie Voyage Travels. What's my slogan? Eccentric experiences. We'll say that. Great. So far, pretty easy. You can change that cover photo out if you would like. However, we have this nice little get started button. Buttons are a huge piece to making any landing page, any website interactive. It's allowing that person who's visiting your site to have some touch points. The more touch points, the better. It's stickiness. You'll hear that term a lot in marketing. And so what we want to do is make this button do what we want. I'm going to click our pencil icon for that Get Started button, just on the right-hand side here. And it's going to say, okay, what do you want the button to do? In my opinion, I personally like to connect a form at the top, just a really quick intake form. And so I'm going to select form. Okay, great. What do we want that button to say? Do we want it to say get started? Do we want it to say something else? That's up to you. I'll say get started for now. And at the bottom, it's going to say, all right, do you want to create a brand new form? Have you ever created a form before? If so, let's go ahead and do that. Or is there a form in your library, which, if you joined us for our first session, which I know a lot of you joined us for all of our sessions, which is crazy and great, you will know that Morgan shared out some really great intake forms. So why not connect one from your library that you saved from Morgan? For me, I'm going to grab my booking form 2025, click that plus button, and I'm going to click save. It's as easy as that. We're going to do this a few times to really have this stick. But aside from clicking into elements that we want to edit, that menu appearing on the right-hand side and just kind of going down the list of putting information in, the other thing to note is that you can add in additional elements. Oh my goodness, losing my words. But the way to do that is selecting your new element button, top right, and you're going to get a whole menu of things that you can pull in here. Do you want to pull over an image carousel? You can just drag and drop it over. Put in your images, it just goes ahead and rotates through. This is really fun for your friends who do groups. If you want to put in any group images or if you've traveled to a destination before to put in your own images, adds that nice personal touch. If you decide you don't want it, just hit cancel and it removes itself out of there. But again, new elements, add as many as you want in. I do think it's worth noting, think about how long it is taking to scroll both on a mobile device as well as on your actual computer. You don't want things to be too long. Think about splitting it up if it gets a little bit lengthy. But all right, back to what we were doing. We just edited this first element. We're going to continue our way down. All right, we see something we want to edit. What do we do? Here's a question for the chat. What do I do if I want to edit it? I am putting you guys on a quiz, actually. This is fun. Ooh. Pencil, yes, select the element. Great job, Kate and Ayla. I hope I'm saying your name right. Yes, we click it, and that is allowing us to edit it. And so what we will do from here is put in the prompts. Company name, Bonnie Voyage Travel. Bonnie Voyage, we'll just keep it nice and short. We're going to give you those prompts. This is something where ChatGPT could come in handy. If you're saying, okay, give me 3 to 4 sentences on a good business description. Here's my company. Here's a little bit about me if you want to move fast. Otherwise, it doesn't hurt to go through these exercises just so you know how you can do something like an elevator pitch. If someone were to come up to you and say, hey, can you tell me a bit about your travel agency? Think about what you're going to say and then put it in this element here. So I'm going to delete that out, paste something in that I already created. You can get a little bit of inspo from this. Again, you could probably take what you put into your SEO description and put it right within here. That doesn't hurt at all. But now it says connect the button below to put in an intake form. Some can be found. Okay, sounds good. I'll remove that out. Clients don't need to see that. But we know how we add in a button. This is where, Ayla, you said choose that pencil icon. Yes, yes, yes. Find your pencil icon for that button. From here, work your way down. Do we want it to connect to a form? Yes. Button text, totally fine. Let's import the same booking form that we used for the top one right here, which is that booking form 2025. Great. Hit save, hit save, hit save. So far, it's just a matter of going through it from top to bottom. Now, we do have this how it works element. Feel free, you can keep it as is. If you want to change it up, you can always do that too. I know some people will like to use this to put in different trips, like current promotions up at the top. They'll put in 3 different itineraries, 3 different proposals that someone can click into. It's up to you, but this is hopefully a good starting point for what you're trying to do with your website. Now, for me, I do always like to see a process when it comes to the homepage. We only have very limited time spans with the people who are visiting this. I think it's anywhere from 4 to 8 seconds with the attention span these days. And so you want to be really quick and concise. Being transparent always helps too. And so what I'm going to do with you guys quick is we're going to put in a proposal into this middle column. We already went through how we can connect a form, so you guys should know how to do that. Find your pencil icon, put in what form you want to do. But for this middle guy, how do we put in a trip we've created? Maybe that all-inclusive we just did a session ago would be a really great example to show people what they can expect from me if they were to work and book with me. So here we go. I'm going to start from the very beginning. We are going to click into it when we want to edit it. On the right-hand side is our menu to edit. We find our pencil icon to edit specific things. So I want to put in our all-inclusive proposal into this little section right here. And now I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to go all the way down to that button area. We're finding that pencil. And now we're thinking to ourselves again, what do we want this button to do? And actually, let me go back here. I'm completely messing you guys up. Forget the last 5 seconds of what I just said. When it comes to a trip, we actually have to hit import from Travefy. My bad, guys. Import from Travefy at the very bottom when it comes to a trip. I'll go over that again since I messed that up a little bit. But import from Travefy, we'll select that itinerary. And now all of your current proposals, all of your itineraries are going to show up right here for you to choose. And so for us, let's see, which one did we do together? I think it was this one right here. I'm going to click that plus icon. And you can actually see how the title changes as well as the price. So if that's something that you want to throw in there, you absolutely can do that. For me, I'm going to keep it to saying proposal and I'm going to remove the price out just because I want this to be something where they can see step one, step two, step three. Let's hit save and we'll do this again. Don't you worry. But now here's what it's looking like. Okay, so far so good. We've gone through three different elements so far, but now how are these buttons working? Well, we have this handy preview option up at the top so you can preview your website whenever. When I select preview, we can see it both on a mobile device, on how that would look, as well as the desktop. If I scroll down and let's hit let's chat, we'll come up with this. I happen to require an electronic signature, so they are going to need to verify their email address. Once that's done, they can just continue to go through those questions. And of course, with any form submission, you are notified through email and you can follow up with them. When it comes to any itineraries or proposals that you link, when I select view itinerary, takes them right to that proposal and itinerary. They'll be able to see those photos, click into those links or any videos that you've included as well. Key thing though is there's a nice contact button. This goes directly to your email address. So if they are interested and they want to follow up with you, this is just another option for them to contact you. But I always like to link at least one itinerary or one proposal just so that client can really be like, oh my gosh, this looks so good compared to, maybe some other advisors I've been shopping around on. I didn't get a good example of what a proposal or itinerary looks like. You can already be one step ahead of that game. But I'm going to click out of there, exit the preview, and we're going to continue our way along. Again, just click into whatever we want to edit. Now, I'm glad that if anyone joined the Teak session, anyone joined Teak yesterday for their session because it was really good. They talked all about workflow. Cassandra says yes. So, little Laura, yes, yes. Oh, I love the Teak session. Oh, it was so good. Teak, if you are listening in, just know that everyone's saying yes. But what they said and mentioned really heavily and tipped about is including a way for someone to schedule time with you. It's so important to have face-to-face interactions. And so giving the option for someone to set up that consultation call with you is always super important. And the nice thing about Calendly, if you aren't familiar with that software, is that there are free versions and it allows someone to see your availability, select the time that works for them, and schedule a meeting with you. And so for me, I'm going to find one of our training Calendly links and I'm going to copy it on my other window here. It's as easy as, again, clicking right on into it. We go into the Calendly URL. You just need the URL. You don't need any coding or anything like that. Paste in the link before we hit save, and you can see that calendar pull on up. And so gives a little bit of description. You'll be able to change out your branding, of course, since it would be your Calendly account. But it is really nice, especially if you need a place to get started. We have Calendly integrations here as well as on a form. But all right, we're almost to the bottom. Now is a call to action. This is another term that you're going to get really familiar with when it comes to your marketing. And it's pretty straightforward, actually. A call to action is saying, hey, I need you to do this. You're telling the visitor to do something. You're really convincing them this is our last push to do one action. So, what is that action you want them to take? For me, it's about them filling out that getting started intake form. And so we want to think really thoughtfully about the terminology that we put in here. Do we want to go with a friendly tone? Do we want to go authoritative? There's some, again, different pros and cons depending on the type of branding you want to go with. Typically, though, friendly is always a really good way to go, especially if you're in travel. And so for our heading here, let's go and say, I'm just looking at my notes, what's a good one? Let's start planning is probably the most popular one that I've seen. Let's start planning, or ready to relax is another one I see a lot. You can absolutely continue to use it. It's a good one for a reason. Next, I'll just copy and paste this next part in here. Feel free to take what I say and use it for your own. And lastly, that handy get started button. You know already what we are going to do. We are clicking that pencil icon. We are deciding what we want this button to do. We want it to go to a form. Button text is fine. I want to connect that same booking form that I've done for all of my other buttons to stay consistent. And now I'm clicking save, 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 and we're all good to go. Now, last couple of things on this page at least, you'll see at the bottom our footer. This is where you will want to put in your social media links. And this just, again, helps just establish you even further. It doesn't hurt to put in any of your social links, especially if you have a Facebook page. I think that's probably the most popular social media when it comes to working in travel. And so if you see that, we clicked into it, we have our menu on the side, find your pencil icon. So if I have a Facebook page I want to link, pencil icon for that Facebook, everything's already set up. Just put your URL in there. You don't have to put a text. If you want to spell out Facebook and have it appear like so, you can, but it's not necessary. If there's any social media that you really don't have, such as X, formerly known as Twitter, you can always click the three dots and you can delete that out. Now, again, I always like to preface this, don't feel like you have to memorize each and every step we're walking through today. Because if you have questions, we have a great support team here to walk you through this with you. Now, I'm going to scroll up to the top. There's one more thing we're going to point out before we actually move on to that about template. And that is, how do you link pages together? Well, it's pretty simple. It's all through those buttons and those links. So we're going to go up to the top here. That navigation bar is typically where you will put these buttons to other pages in. Because think about all the websites that you visited. Usually there are different tabs or different buttons up at the top, whether, I took this example, I think yesterday. If you're shopping online, maybe you're on American Eagle, Amazon, whatever, you find what category you're looking for and it directs you to a new page. That is how websites just work, and that's how it would work within Travefy as well. And so if you want to add additional buttons, you can. For instance, if we have that About Page template, we can connect that About Page template to this one. And so this is the second part of our conversation today. And we're going to make this one super quick as well. We're going back to that marketplace. That's where you would go into that Show More to see all of the featured items. We already talked about that home template. Now you're ready to go into that About template. Same thing, copy it to your library. Library is your own personal database. I know I'm going really quick on this one. But once you have that in your library, find your three dots, new page from here, and you're going to repeat the same thing. Go into your edit page settings, fill out the information how you like, but now you're ready to go through and start putting in your information. For instance, about company name. Well, that's easy, Bon Voyage. Hit save. I can switch the photos out if I want to later. Get to know me. Of course, I'd want to put my own photo in. We've already talked through buttons. Let's do one more trip just to get familiar with that since I messed up the first time. Let's click into here. We want to put in an example from the Smith family. Clicking right on into it, that menu appears on the right-hand side for us to edit it. Let's put in a trip for the Smith family so someone can click in and see what they did. Clicking that. And now I'm going to go to the bottom. Import from Travefy when we want to connect any itinerary or library item. We'll select itinerary, and from here we can choose which one we want to show. So maybe I'm going to connect the Smith Bahama Cruise. Perfect, looks good. I'm going to remove out the badge. And you know what? I'm going to say the Smiths. Ooh. Let's go ahead and do that there. You would, of course, put their testimonial in, but we'll hit save, hit save. Next thing, as always, when you make a lot of different changes, just scroll on down, try out those buttons, make sure they all work. They aren't going anywhere you don't want them to. Make sure that your itinerary that you connected actually looks correct and that it's not providing any, personal information. You always want to remove personal client information from here, really generalize it. So I would probably honestly remove prices, maybe even the dates if you just want to give some trip inspo. But so far, the buttons are working good. Again, add as many buttons as you need to. That is what makes it interactive. Try to stick to that one form though. Now, as you can see, pretty much everything remains the same. You can have the same call to action. You can add some variety in if you want a different call to action on the About page or a different way of saying it, but still have them fill out that Get Started intake form. But for the most part, again, we're going to try and make it easy with these templates where you just have to exchange a different little bit of information. Now, I will say, since I'm doing somewhat okay on time for this, my big tip to you when it comes to uploading your photo or your headshot, one, don't put a photo of your vacation, do try and find a photo of you that you wouldn't mind putting out there on the internet for the rest of the world to see. I know that's a really big ask and it can be scary, but try and get a professional headshot taken or have your family member take a photo of you while you're on your next vacation. So you can do a few things. One, you can always go into Canva. I'm a big Canva lover. You can find one of the free frames. You don't have to purchase Canva. I'm not saying that. But you can go ahead, find your element, put your photo in, have a white background so it almost looks like you're floating right here. Just a big one. I'm not going to show you how to do that just because I will get totally off topic and go into Canva and try and show you all of the things. But how do we connect our About page now to that home page? Pretty simple. We want to go back to that home page. We're going back right here, and I'm going back into that navigation bar. Now that we have our About page saved from the marketplace and we have those edits done, I'm going into that button, finding our pencil icon. From here, we have to think to ourselves again, what do we want this link or this button to do? Do we want this to go to another page? In this case, yes. Do we want it to go to an external link? Maybe if you want to put your affiliate link in here. Maybe to go to your host agency page. That's always a good option. Do we want people to contact you directly through email, form? For this case, we want this About button to go to our About page. And so we are selecting page. Okay, out of all of the pages I've ever created, which one is it? I'm going to select this one down here. That's the one we most recently created together. And the text is totally fine. We're going to click save, click save. But all right, other big key thing is we're going to do the same exact thing for that About page. We connected the home to the About. Now we have to connect the About to the home. So it's a little bit of a two-step process, but this is going to make a world of difference for people who are visiting your website. We want them to be able to go back to that home page. And so I just went to our About page that we've been editing together, and we're going to do the same exact thing. We're going to go to, this time, the home button. We find our pencil icon. What do we want this button to do? We want this to go to a new page. We select page. All right, what page of Bonnie's are we connecting to? We're connecting to the home template. So I'm selecting that. We'll leave the text as is before we click save. Save again. And now we're pretty much at the end piece of this, and probably the most important, but it's about putting it online. And we make it really easy. We aren't going to make you wait 48-hour business days or business hours, excuse me, for this to go online or for you to make any changes. All you've got to do is hit publish here. And of course, you want to make sure you publish your homepage. Hit publish. Now you might be wondering, okay, where's the URL? Well, you might see it on the right-hand side, but all you have to do to get that URL is your edit page button. And now we have this nice little URL that we can copy. We could put into a social media post. We could put onto our link tree. We could put it into our social media bio, your email signature. Think of those places where you would want a traveler or a potential client to be able to access your website and then put it there. So let's go ahead. I'm copying that link. I'm going to open a brand new tab on my browser. And you could get to it too if you want to type this in. This is where it takes us. Get started. Form works. Perfect. Just like I saw with the preview. View itinerary. That works as well. Looks good. Now, what if I go to the About page? Heck, it takes me to the About page. What if I want to go back to the home page? Well, you know what? I copied the wrong template. So, wah, wah, wah. That's just the beauty of doing a webinar. But I'm going to go back here, go back. It will connect for you, I promise. I just have, as you can see, 4 different templates right here. And so, again, biggest thing to get over, to not be scared about, is just to experiment around with your look. If you want to edit something, if you want to try a different photo here, have some fun choosing some different photos, see what really goes with your theme, with what look you're going for. Maybe you're going for more of a cruise theme and you want to show some cruise ships. I promise you there are a million cruise photos in that photo database. I'm sure that you can also use your own as well. But other things that we're just going to wrap up with is domain masking. You've heard us talk about it throughout when we talk about custom domain, even the emails. That is where instead of Travefy being in that URL that I share out, instead it has my domain name, which is Bonnie Voyage Travels. There's a lot of different places that you can purchase your domain from, such as GoDaddy, Squarespace, Wix. There's so many out there, but choose whichever one you want to go with. You can even, if you are a newer advisor, go with the new travel agent program and we'll give you different options and take care of it for you. But the way to get started is you find your settings gear. And I did that a little quick. Let me do that again. Your settings gear is up at the top left. And from here, if you want to customize your domain, you don't want Travefy to be in your URL, go ahead. You'll select setup. For me, I'm already domain master, so it's going to take me right here. But it's going to be in your settings. You'll see custom domain settings. Click into it. It'll walk you through the setup process. Now, this is probably the most techie part of Travefy. And so if the terms A records, C name records sounds like a foreign language, which it does still to me, I highly recommend reaching out to our team and setting up a quick 10-minute custom domain masking session. They're free to do. We might be a little backed up in schedules, but we also have FAQs that we can walk you through as well. But really, it doesn't take too long once you have it set up, and then everything that you send from Travefy is branded to you. This isn't at any additional cost. You just need to have a domain already under yourself. And so take a look at some of those domain websites. If, again, you are a newer advisor, look into our new travel agent program because we'll purchase it for you. Now, I'm going to go back to pages. I'm going to try and think if there was anything else that I was missing. Otherwise, we actually have a good amount of time today for any questions. So I think I'll open it up to questions.
I have some. Oh, amazing stuff, Bonnie. See, there's a reason why we love talking about the websites because it's fun. It is fun stuff. And a lot of people are like, thank you so much. There's a couple people who they're like, I am going to work on my website right after this.
Yes,
So that
set
is
some
so,
goals.
yes, it's so good. Well, I do have some questions here for you. The first one is one of my faves because I love the answer is how many landing pages can we create and publish?
You can create as many pages as you want. As you can see, I probably, if there were a limit, I have already met that and exceeded it. So make as many as you want. Don't feel like for your own website, you can only have your homepage and about page. Put in your services, put in any promotionals. If you want to split it up a little bit, do that. You can create as many of these as you need to. You can also always go in. You can delete ones you don't need anymore out of there. Plus, this is a fun little fact too. You can always hide them. So if you're going through a whole new branding and because when you first started out, you were thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to do cruises, but now I've decided I'm only going to do Disney. Those are very different looks. You can always make your site hidden, click save, hit publish, and then your website is no longer available for the public to get to. So it's really flexible for any changes that you're going through in your career. You can make as many changes as you want, publish them. I know I went a little bit off track with that answer, but seriously, love this page builder.
As much as you want. So cool. And you can have as many published as you want to.
Yes.
So really cool. Now I have, so I have a few other questions here is, one, you kind of were touching on this just now. It's like, Rebecca was asking, is there an option to change the font colors? My brand color is pink and the font color is white. So it's hard to see. So there's kind of a two-part answer to this. But I'll let you take it away and kind of explain.
Yeah, so we do give you some options with the theme color, which you'll have to go into your edit page settings and go into theme itself. So what I would recommend doing is try out that pink color just to see what it looks like. So we'll say that maybe this is your pink color. We try and take in any case. When we were thinking about designing this, we were like, okay, if people choose, this bright neon color, how can we still make sure things are legible? Try this out. Make sure that, okay, white on pink, there's a little bit of that there, but for me, I can still read it pretty easily. If you decide, you know what, I just don't love it, what I would recommend doing is then trying out maybe Stellar. Well, maybe you're not. Try out those themes, try out your theme colors, but one in the two should hopefully work for you. Otherwise, feedback is always great. I always love hearing page feedback, especially because I would love to see even more features around this. So
yeah, I know even us. It's not just you all. Bonnie and I are also like, hey,
keep conversations
team,
going.
how about
Give us
so
more.
Yeah, but we want, I know it's so good. Also, by the way, on that though, there were multiple people in the chat saying how they've done Wix and it was so hard, so just time consuming, not great. And this is so much better. And that's the thing. This is so simple. And this is something as a new advisor, if you don't even have clients yet, like this you can do right now. And this is exactly what you do. And this is an expensive thing that you could buy separately outside of Travefy. And this is all in there. So I mean, I could go off on a tangent on that, but it's
Yeah.
just so incredible what you can do. Also, a lot of people talking about their groups, huge, all so many possibilities. One of the things that I want to talk about is tips for showcasing trips. This was a little earlier when you were showing some trips, and for especially for anyone on here who is really new and they're like, what do I show? Like, I'm not sure what I'm selling. Well, I want to throw out a couple ideas, and Bonnie, you'll have to add more if you have some. But one that I've seen is where if you have had a client like in the past, you could make a copy of their itinerary, remove out any personal info, and then you can like fluff it up if you need and just show it. And then you can say like just booked or now booking. Or another option is if you go into Marketplace, there's some really great templates in there. And then also consider just using city guides. Like if you want to start selling
Ooh.
Paris or something, make an itinerary that's really simple and it's literally just like the city guide. I mean, that's an idea too. Those are just some things that I had thought about. I jotted them down while we were
You're
going
like,
today.
that is an
I
amazing
was like,
question. Yes.
I need to say this. Yeah, because there's so much you could do.
Guys, and I am probably Desiree's like biggest fangirl, but she is a website designer full time and she actually charges for her services, but she has 3 free templates that you could go in here if you want more inspo on how you can lay things out. She also actually connects Canva links. So, Canva, here it is. You can go ahead, access her graphic, put in your logo color. So that's another option for my friend who asked about, if pink is my color, like how would I incorporate that onto a landing page? Because, white on pink, pink on white doesn't mesh all the time. Go ahead, check out Desiree's because she does include custom canvas. So
Yes. And
just
I'm
saying,
actually, I'm gonna go
hers are so
find those and
good.
I'm gonna throw them in the chat here. So I will put those in there.
Amazing.
One thing that while I'm doing that, I have another thing for you, Bonnie. This comes up a lot because it can get really confusing until you do it once and then you'll never have to ask this question again. But how do you connect pages? Like, so like when you do, if you have a multi-page site or you're trying to connect one thing to another, can you just go over again, like how you do that?
Yes, let's go ahead and do that again because I do think that's probably the biggest hurdle that you'll have to cover when you are setting up your page. Because getting down to editing your page, you'll get that pretty quickly. But when it comes to those buttons, it can be a little bit confusing. And so for me, let's say I'm going to look at all of my pages right here. Let's say I want to connect it to, oh my gosh, I have so many in here. Let's connect it to a testimonial page that I have. I'm going to click into my navigation bar. I always recommend putting these types of buttons into your nav bar so it's easy for someone to see when they first get to your website. And from here, let's add an item. I'm selecting add item. And you can choose from a few things. Do you want it to be a button? It would just have an outline like this. Do you want it to be a link where it's just text? Or, are you adding more space in? We're going to do a link. And just like a button, links and buttons are pretty much the same thing. They just look a little bit different. What do we want that link or button to do? That is where you are taking a look at your options. Do we want it to go to a page section? Do we want it to drop them down to a specific part on this page? A page? And that's the answer. An external link, an email address, or a form from Travefy. When we are connecting pages together, we want to set that link up to go to a page. So we are selecting page. And from here, we have our whole list of pages that I've created that I can choose from. So I said testimonials. Where did that one go? You know what? Enough with that. Let's just go with this royally relaxed one. I know that I edited that rather recently. That is a travel landing page. So you're going to see what that looks like. Once we have that page set up, we are choosing which page we want to go with. What do we want to title that? We'll call this upcoming trip. Select save. And you might be thinking, oh my gosh, why is that button all the way on this side? That looks awful. Drag and drop. Drag it to where you want it to be. So now I have it next to about. Select save. Let's hit publish one more time. And I'm just going to grab that URL, paste it in here, select upcoming trip, and now it takes us to a travel landing page that I have created. So if you needed some inspo on what a travel landing page could look like, this is a good idea. Really great for groups. I know so many of you were saying that you guys do
Yes.
groups.
It's so good for groups. I also put in the creme de la creme of a link of a template in the chat. I put the marketplace link to all of our page templates. So there's like the ones Bonnie was talking about, Desiree. It's so good. There's so many. Every time I go look at them, I'm like, dang, those are good. They are really awesome. So good. I just want to see one other thing, and then I was actually going to snag a couple minutes just since I know this is our last session that I want to
Oh,
talk about because I realized we hadn't talked about it today is our scholarship that we're giving away, the 13 scholarships.
oh, ooh,
I
ooh,
totally thought about that. I
ooh.
was like kind of forgetting. So one really quick thing here, Bonnie, can you go to our here? I can pull it up. Let me
Oh,
get it. If
it's
you
on
can
our
go to
new
the
agent
main
bootcamp
page.
page, guys.
Yeah, so if you go on here, so one thing, so I know so many of you are, again, really new to the industry, or even if you already have been part of the industry for a little bit and you're still like, still so much to learn. We actually have partnered with the Travel Institute. So Patty, who was our kickoff session yesterday, she was from the Travel Institute, and the Travel Institute offers, just industry education, certifications. But we actually partner with them to give away 13 scholarships for the Trip Kit, which is the first entry level program that you can do. And it's where you'll learn literally everything about like all the different acronyms, how the industry like works together, suppliers, all of that good stuff, destination stuff. There's so much in there. And we're giving away 13 of those for 50% off enrollment, which is $225 that basically you get waived for free on there. And so if you just go onto our page and apply, it's a really simple application. We ask a couple questions at the bottom, some essays, but they don't have to be like it's not like going back to school, like essay, like scary length. It's just like a couple sentences is fine. So just check that out. And we are going to keep it open until July 31st. So next week. And then after a couple weeks, we will start to look and reach out if you are selected. But I had to throw that in there because again, I know that there's just so much to learn. It is crazy. There's a lot. So this stuff like this
Yes.
helps.
Yes, education is always a really big thing. And I just saw this question really quick, so I'm going to answer it. Andrew asked, what's your opinion on including pricing? I will give you my opinion as a traveler. I like to see a price or a starting point. Even a range is fine. You don't have to put a price for everything, but I think having that transparency can really help set the conversation because one, you don't want to lowball people, and then two, you also don't want people to say, hey, I would like this trip for $1,000 when it's actually really a $6,000 trip. So just starting that out, it can help narrow down who your customer is and who you're talking to and can make sure you're talking to the right client for you. That's a whole nother topic that I think we actually covered in a new agent bootcamp maybe a year ago, just making sure you're talking
Yeah.
to the right client. So you aren't wasting time, but I am someone who is a fan of putting prices down if you have the option. Again, a range starting point. That is perfectly fine.
Mhm.
But while I have the time, I do want to show you our support center. This is where you're going to find the answer to pretty much everything. Of course, utilize that live chat in your account. Email us if you have any questions. But because I know so many of you, probably like 90% of you, have jobs outside of being a travel advisor, sometimes it just works a little bit better if you can do it on your own time. And so this is where you can find some on-demand webinars. We'll be there answering questions for a lot of those sessions, but you can also rewatch some of our recordings and
Hey,
get
Bonnie,
different
that's
things.
you.
Hey, that's us plus Alum if you want a good Spanish session. But no, there's so much in here. One, since we were talking about the Travel Institute, highly recommend going to our certifications. These are free. So I know having some certifications, being able to post on LinkedIn saying, hey, I'm a new travel advisor. I'm really excited about my career change. I have completed this and this and this certification. Here are my badges. These are all things that you can get started on through Travefy. Plus, we have ones through CLIA, so you'll get 10 points with them if you're going through their certification as well. plus 3 CEUs if you're working with Travel Institute. So if you get the scholarship, you might also want to go through the certification course just so you can really bulk things up. But we have a lot of different material depending on your learning style. So don't feel like you're alone. Hopefully, you don't hear that ambulance that's right outside of the office right here.
Oh, nope.
Oh, phew. It's just
Like,
me
oh no,
that can hear
they're
it.
coming. It's the end of train. It's the end, or it's the end
Oh
of
gosh, they're
New
coming to
Age
take
Week.
us
She's like,
away.
uh, can you really quick, Deborah just asked really quick, can you click on where to get to that support page again?
Yes, when you're in your account, you can hit that learn option by your name at the top right. Hit learn, you'll be taken right here. Otherwise, it's just travefy.com/support. If you don't have an account, you can still access this. You can even go through the certification beforehand if you want to go through it before you start a trial. Really,
Yeah.
it's up to you. Create your own adventure, as our CEO David loves to say. So, yeah, the same is true for you guys.
It is. It's so cool. And we have so much more that we're going to be adding in there too for like CRM stuff and all that good stuff. And keep and reminder too that in our YouTube channel, you'll be able to go find all of actually, I think is it under on demand, I think is our YouTube channel, but you could also just go to YouTube. Yeah. So right there.
It's
And
there.
yeah, and then once this session wraps up, just give us a little bit of time and then we'll get that on there too. Because I know everyone's itching to get to those recordings because it's helpful because you can pause them. So you could do what Bonnie was showing and like pause it when you need, come back. And I know that's just so helpful for a lot of people. So, um,
Yes.
so it's
Put us on like
cool.
0.5 speed and
So
slow us
we
down.
talk like this. Yeah, it helps.
Exactly.
It does help sometimes. So, man, this is awesome. I really can't believe this is like the last one. There's,
I
but don't you worry. If this is your first time joining us, we do so many webinars. So you'll hear from us again very soon. This, we love our webinars, don't we, Bonnie? Our
We
videos, our tutorials.
love we love them.
We really
Also,
do.
I love that everyone who has joined today has been so kind and helpful. I every time I look at the chat, someone is helping answer someone else's question. I think people are asking about like what
Really
host
good.
agency should I go with. You guys are so kind to each other. And just throw my hat in the ring. You should take a look at host agency reviews if you need any help navigating that space. I know when I
Hmm.
joined Travefy right after college, I had no idea how big this travel industry was. Host agency reviews really does help lay things out. Plus, you get to see, pros, cons, who they're affiliated with, etc. There's a ton of information there. But yeah, like I said, reach out to
No,
us if you need any tips on anything. We are here to
we're
help.
here.
But have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for joining us for Travel Agent Bootcamp 2025. Woo!
We
Get the
did it.
confetti.
Yes. Thank you so much. Oh man, I almost don't want to let you go, everybody.
I know, stay here,
But we'll
everyone.
chat again very soon. But as Bonnie said, we are here when you need us, and especially for like those tips, tricks, anything you need, we got you.
We've got you. I
Got
can't
you.
wait to see where you guys go for the rest of the year, but
I
have an
know.
amazing rest of your day. It's been awesome, and we'll see you later,
Bye
everyone.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.